Little Rock, California. It's exactly like what it sounds, little. I think a lot of people get discouraged by growing up in a small town. They think that that's all there is, you know, and that since I'm from this little place, how can I do anything bigger than this? That's a perfect place to come up with your dreams. It's easy to dream in a small place where you're not getting stepped on every time you turn around with a new idea. I think it's a perfect place for dreams, for dreaming. Talk about being like born into rock and roll, you know? My mom went into labor with me at a midnight showing of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And she swore it was all because I heard all the commotion going on out there and I couldn't wait to get out and hang out with everybody. Mom was a dancer at the 77 Sunset Strip in Hollywood. And the big story was that she was leaving one night and a big limo come pulling up and
the windows rolled down and the guys in there were hitting on her and stuff. And
so she peeks in and she sees that one of them is Paul McCartney.
oh, really, Paul McCartney?
She refuses, you know, she's like, yeah, I'll see you guys later. Takes off, goes home, tells my dad what happened.
And she's like, yeah, they were asking me to go with them. And I said, well, why didn't you? She goes, I'm not going to go with them. And I said, hell, I would have. Hell yeah, I would have. Paul McCartney.
My folks, you know, they were both artists. You know, my mother was a performer, a dancer. My dad was a songwriter. You know, they were both dreamers, you know. So for us growing up in a household like that, it made it so much easier to, you know, really dream and try new things and go for new things, you know. I hear a lot of people, like friends of mine and stuff, who were stifled early on in their endeavors because their parents didn't want them doing that, taking that road, or, you know, you're supposed to go to school, or you're supposed to be a doctor, or whatever it might be, you know. And so they never really pursued it. You shouldn't stifle anybody from trying things. You'll never find anything by staying where you're at. My brother and I, on the other hand, you know, our parents, they were always our biggest supporters. No matter what it was that we were going after, go for it, heck yeah, you know, like, try, you know. And the crazy thing was that they had a way of making us really believe that we could do it. You know, I always knew music like a second language. You know, I really don't remember learning how to play, just like I don't remember learning how to talk. So I always knew music. I didn't really know what really got me off, though, until my little brother Justin decided he wanted to be Elvis. Naturally, I wanted to be, you know, since I played guitar, I wanted to be the guitar player to back him up. And so we go to my dad and tell him, yeah, you know, teach us some songs. So he learned a bunch of Elvis songs and taught me how to play them, and Justin fronted the thing. You know, Justin was really the front man of the whole show. You know, he really turned me on to a whole different genre of music and style and everything else that I would have never seen without him, you know. And I've been the same way ever since, pretty much. Like, there was never a doubt that we couldn't accomplish something, you know. And I think that's such a huge thing for a kid. I wish that more people were that way with their children. I know I'm that way with my daughter, you know. Like, there's nothing she can't do, you know. And you shoot for the stars, you'll get to the clouds. If you shoot for nothing, you'll go nowhere. The recording studio has always been like the beacon for me as far as music goes, you know. I learned everything that I know there, you know. My first experience of recording anything was on a reel-to-reel in the backyard, you know, in the studio. There was just like, there was an energy in that room because of all the music that they had done in there, you know, my dad and all his friends and Greg and everybody that used to go in there and record and do their thing. It was just a perfect spot for me to, I could feel the music in there and just kind of steal songs out of the air. It was great.
We used to jam out here all the time. I'd have friends come over all the time. This room was full.
Saxophones, guitars. There was a piano in here at one time. My mother's piano, I think, was in here. Wasn't it in here?
This door opened and that door both opened. We'd have to prop up little things so that we could climb in and out, you know, the guys. And he'd be out here just hanging, just in his diapers, just checking us out. Just we couldn't get rid of him.
So my dad and Greg hadn't seen each other in 10, 15 years at the time. And the whiskey show that we did was kind of the place where they reunited. And they came to see my band play. And like I was saying, you know, we got a record deal that night. And I was on top of the world, the biggest guy in the world. I had it all figured out. And we all went back to the house and partied down till the sun came up. And Greg and Dad sat down at the piano and they just busted out with that song, You're Special.
Your mom. She was a special lady. I wrote that for her, like most everything.
I told him it's the best song he ever wrote, you know, but he don't think so. But, you know, I just loved it. It just hit the spot with me. It was that song because that was for your mom. Yeah, it's still a special song to me, too.
Inspiration to that song is she was special. That's all there is to it. She was special to all of us and to everybody. That song just came. It was just obvious how much I loved her.
And they hit every harmony, they hit everything, like as if they had never lost a beat, like they'd never lost a minute, like as if they had been rehearsing it every day, you know. And the power in that camaraderie and the energy that was projected by that, I mean, I thought I was here, you know, and it just brought me back down here, which wasn't a bad thing. It was a beautiful thing because it changed my perspective on how to go about my art and really what were my real goals with my art, you know? Was it to be a pop star and to have a record deal and all this other stuff, you know? Or was it to actually make something that was gonna last forever? And that was a super humbling and motivating part of my life, seeing them do that. We're recording this whole album right here in my living room, and most of the time with the doors and windows wide open, you know. It's a very relaxed environment. Everybody feels like they're at home. Which I really love about it because it first of all, you get to hear the birds chirping. You get to hear a car drive by. You get to hear what's really happening in the moment. The importance of a recording and the reason something that's so important about a recording is that you're literally capturing something. You're capturing a piece of time. So why would you want to damper that? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the more you can capture in a recording, the more of that piece of time that you're actually capturing, the better it is because, geez, it's alive, you know? That's really what I've got going on here now, you know, a bunch of talented, very talented players and people who are passionate about what we're doing, about the music, about the direction of, you know, bringing love and happiness back into music again. I think that the album's going to be pretty cool. It does jump around a little bit. It's kind of like a roller coaster. It's got the banging ELO sounding stuff that's just makes you want to move a little bit, you know what I mean, and whatnot. And then it's got the totally cut down songs like You're Special to where it's just strings and a piano. And then even as far out as to a song like Winky's song that is like a Beatles song on the piano in some speakeasy in the 1930s, you know. Yeah, it's a real trip. It's like a flashback record Fits new.
Me more than you to